I would like to call this regular meeting to order of May 8th. Can I get roll call, please?
Mrs. Buckley?
Here.
Mr. Kuderick?
Present.
Ms. Lanasi?
Present.
Ms. White?
Present.
Ms. Roscoe?
Here.
President Frayer?
Here.
Mr. Minkiewicz is also present.
Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Motion by Ms. White, supported by Ms. Roscoe. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is to go into executive session.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Support. Motion by Mrs. Lanasi, supported by Mrs. Buckley. All in favor? Or do we need roll call?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Mrs. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Kuderick?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
President Frayer?
Yes.
And Mr. Minkiewicz also votes yes.
I make the motion that we reconvene. He had it on, Joe.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Lanasi, supported by Mr. Kuderick. Can I get roll call, please?
Mrs. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Kuderick?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
President Frayer?
Yes.
Mr. Minkiewicz also votes
I hope
yes.
I can read that calendar.
Reconvene at 6:33 p.m.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous
Oh,
meetings.
the public can come in now.
What I would like to do,
You invite them to come in.
And let them come in.
Yeah,
Start
I
the
just
meeting.
did.
Give them a minute to get in, sit down.
hello, how are you?
Energy,
Good.
energy presentation.
Evelyn, this is our, Mr. Weiss. She's one of our bus aides. Retired.
Eddie Weiss.
Weiss.
Oh, Weiss. Weiss, what did I say? Weiss?
Say it however you'd like.
Weiss.
I know. See, that's what I like about him.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, and what I'd like to do is we've had 3 meetings from April 24th, 2006 was a regular board meeting. April 25th, 2006 was a special meeting, and April 26th, we also had another special meeting. So what we'd like to do is just go ahead and approve them all, and
But we need to comment that the April 26th minutes were
Corrected.
revised as of tonight.
okay.
So the first 2 are fine, and then the third one was revised.
Okay, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve our previous meeting minutes of our regular meeting of April 24th, our special meeting of April 25th, and our revised minutes for our special meeting on April 26th.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Buckley, supported by Mrs. Lanasi. All in favor? Are there any questions about the meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda would be the report of the superintendent. Joel?
Mr. Clark, personnel recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Members of the board, we have one personnel recommendation for you this evening. A motion is needed by the board to accept the resignation of Ms. Paquita Simmons, first grade teacher at Corey Elementary School. Last day work was May 5th, 2006.
I'll make the motion, Madam President, to accept the resignation as submitted.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Minkiewicz, supported by Mr. Kuderick. Are there any questions regarding?
Talk about it.
Is this position been filled, or what's going on with that, Mr.?
The position will not be filled. This will be a vacancy.
Okay, so it's a sub currently in the position?
Yes.
Kuderick.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Our next personnel action is a discussion about the filling of our special ed position. Recommendation is that Ms. Lynn Masoyan, the current principal of Romulus Elementary, be transferred to the special ed director position effective July 1st.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Can we get a motion, please?
I don't know that you need a motion.
Oh, we don't need a motion? Okay.
For your information.
FYI.
Right, thank you.
Cool.
I think they did a fine job.
I think so too. I think that'll work out just fine. Thank you, Personnel Committee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bills for payment.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. I am recommending the approval of the bills amounting to $692,178.94 from the time period April 26th through May 4th.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bills for payment.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Roscoe, supported by Mrs. Buckley. Are there any questions regarding the bills for payment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are paid.
Okay, we have Mike Bitar and Dave Zolke here again from Energy Conservation presentation. And give us the shot, guys, and we'll go from here.
Good evening.
Again.
That's a bad penny, now with you shouting.
Good evening.
I looked at your agenda, and just so you know.
Can you just grab the mic, please,
Oh,
and
you
turn
did,
it
I'm
on? And that's okay. Just so our audience at home can hear you.
Oh, no, okay. Testing.
It's
It's
not
not
on.
on.
Off, on power.
I heard.
There you go.
Okay. Good evening. I am Michael B. Tarr, and David Zolke, Dr. Zolke's with me. Looking at your agenda, just so you know, whatever your pleasure is, and you've been very thoughtful. I know when you invited us back, you said to have us early. Our time frame's fine. I saw you have a few student things and some other stuff. If there are other things you want on that agenda to act on, we'll gladly stick around, because I think what I heard you say last time, that you wanted most of the truckload. I mean, you wanted the information similar to what we gave to the committee that was fairly lengthy. So I just want to make sure I'm addressing what you want to have addressed. So you want me to go through the full loan presentation, is that my understanding?
I guess
Well-
I would just have, Madam Chair, if I
Go
have
ahead.
a question. I know you presented it to the Finance Committee, and before you left the last time, you asked the people go back and watch the video, because that would be an overview. Did anybody have a chance to watch the video?
We brought a copy with us and
That would
as well.
cut back,
Because
Because we got a lengthy agenda.
We can put,
That's
do
fine.
we want to move him down then?
we will accommodate your schedule. That's all I wanted to communicate to you, not to mess up your meeting or change it, but we're probably considering, your action stuff. Our time is your time.
Why don't you spend 10 minutes and do the verbal part,
Okay.
which I think you can do.
Yes, I can.
And then if anybody hasn't viewed the video, we can view it. We'll then refer it to the Finance Committee for a recommendation and come back for action one way or other at our next board meeting on the 22nd. Does that sound like an agreeable timetable?
Yes.
Okay?
Great. Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted to check that.
Sure.
Let me first, again, share with you, and for the benefit of those at home who may be listening for the first time and those in the audience, Energy Education Incorporated is an energy management specialty company. We work with school districts all over the country, and we only work with public school districts. Let me pass out this map if you mind taking one and then pass the rest around. As you can see from the mapping moved around, we're in virtually every state. We're actually in 46 states. So we're in every climatic area. We have all different size school districts, specifically in Michigan, and typically that's what schools and communities want to know, where you are in our neighborhood and where you are in our state. We have contracts with approximately 40 school districts in Michigan. We've been active in Michigan now for about 9 years. The district closest to you, probably, districts closest to you, Southgate's a client. They've been a client for a couple of years. Ypsilanti's been a client for about 5 years. Milan just signed a contract. Lincoln, Ypsilanti Lincoln just signed a contract. A number of others as well. What do? Energy Education assists school districts in reducing their energy consumption, thereby being able to send less dollars to the utility providers not by purchasing more equipment, not by spending dollars to buy equipment, but by focusing on opportunities that are within the district, changing people's habits. We look at every transition time, we look at all the opportunities that exist in the district. We've been doing this for almost 20 years, 19 years to be exact, all over the country, and have frankly developed a very effective model for working with school districts and reducing energy consumption. Our typical client sees a reduction of consumption of 15 to 30%. The projection we did for your district is based on 23%. We didn't just do that for your district, we do that for all of our projections. We received the exact cost that you spent on utilities last year, looked at the number of facilities you have, look at the kinds of opportunities that are there, and we put together a proposal for you. I think, did I pass out this thing? Something similar to that last time?
Last time.
Yeah.
You have it in front of you? I'll give you another one. Here's another one, if you don't have it. I think it's important to go through this and visit it again because it captures the essence of what we do. Point number one on that, as you'll recall, again, it says no capital outlay. There's no capital investment for this program, no purchasing of equipment. Point number two, no new budgeted funds. And I'm looking directly at your chief finance officer there. There's none of our 750 clients now, as of last week, has ever budgeted or will ever need to budget new funds for our program because of point number three, the contractual guarantee. It's straightforward. If you don't save at least what you invest, we write you a check for the difference each 12 months, pure and simple. The fee structure is for 48 months. You pay the fee just like you pay your utility bill. They aren't new dollars, they're dollars you're already sending to the utility company. And I'm going to go through that specific fee with you and the savings matrix. Point number four, it's not about sacrificing comfort. It's not telling folks, okay, we know it's getting warmer and we're going to need to have air conditioning going probably before the school year ends. When's your year end? Second week of June approximately, typically. Maybe you probably have summer school going on as well, am I correct? Typically activities. Well, we're just not going to turn the air conditioning on. That's not our program. Our program maintains comfort and enhances comfort. Point number five, limited investment and perpetual savings. I mentioned the fee structures for 48 months, so that's 4 years. Once the fee's completed, we don't stop our services to you. You'll actually see your projections based over 7 years. We have clients in Michigan that started out the very first year we were in Michigan 9 years ago that have been in the program for 9 years. Ypsilanti's actually completed their 5th year. They're moving into their 6th year. Haven't paid a fee since that 48 months. What you have to do as a client, two basic things. One, maintain the energy educator manager position at the same level originally committed to. In the case of your district, it's part-time, and I'll speak to that in more detail. And continue to send us your data. As long as you do that and keep the program vibrant, we'll continue to provide you support and services on an as-needed basis. If all of a sudden 4 or 5 years down the road, your energy educator manager decides, well, you know, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm going to do something else. We'll come in and help you select a new energy educator manager and train him or her just like we'll do at the beginning of the program. The bottom line, what we're projecting for the Romulus Community Schools over the next 7 years, and this is a net savings number, a net savings that you will avoid sending to the utility companies of $2,852,000. This being out to the community, please keep in mind the only thing we can assist you in doing is reducing consumption. What we can't help you is what the rate is you're paying for each unit. In other words, your cost, I'm assuming, of natural gas, especially for last year compared to this year, went up. Am I right? In some places, it went up as much as 30 and 40%. I don't know if you got hit that badly. Electricity rates up. So the cost you pay per unit, we can't control. What we help you do is reduce consumption. So let's give an example. Let's say we helped you in the first year reduce your consumption by 20%. You use 20% less natural gas, 20% less electricity, and water and sewers also in there. Let's say 20% right across the board. But across the board, and this won't happen, you had a 20% increase in your rates. How large of a check does the chief finance officer have to write? The same check as she wrote last year. If you didn't reduce your consumption, if you kept the same consumption, didn't increase it, but kept it the same, and your rates go up 20%, what kind of check does she have to write? 20% greater, right? The reason I'm emphasizing that right now is to make sure, and I don't know your situation, but if you're facing, like most Michigan school districts have faced, there are reductions and issues and everything. And so someone says, well, you know, this first year of this program, they're talking about a net savings of almost $200,000. Actually, it's $199,900. Well, let's take that $200,000 and, you know, we can do it in this program. If you could guarantee what the rate is you're going to pay, and the other variable is weather. If all of a sudden this year was a pretty mild winter, I guarantee you it's not going to stay that way. But it might be mild again next year. But at some point, that kicks in. The milder the winter, the less your heating costs are going to be without any program. Is that a fair assessment? Because you are. The more severe the winter, the greater your heating costs are going to be. Same thing for running your air conditioning. The milder your spring and summer is, the less air conditioning you're going to need. So those two critical variables of weather and the rate you pay is critical. That's why we urge folks, especially in the first year of the program, budget what you're going to budget. And then, once the year is over, let's say everything works out nicely. Yep, you hit that target of 20 to 25%. You know, the rates didn't go up, they stayed the same. We had comparable weather. Then you're going to see the bottom line of that 200,000. And then you'll have greater confidence, one, in the success of the program. We guarantee you there's not going to be any net cost. We don't guarantee you what your net savings is going to be. So the bottom line, again, $2,852,000. Now let me walk you through the specifics. And again, I think did I give you this one last time too? I'm going to give you another one if you want to take one.
I got it.
If you already have it, you can just back. And that's also behind tab 2 in your booklet, that savings matrix. I'm going to quickly walk you through this. It will take me about 3 minutes or so to do that, 3 or 4 minutes. And then I'm going to open it up for questions, okay? And go into any more detail that you want. First of all, before I begin walking you through year one, I want you to look over to where it says total, all the way to the right. And then down at the bottom where it says $2,852,137, you see that? That aligns with that number. Right? That's your net savings. Okay, those two numbers match. Let's walk back to year one. Year one, where it says cost avoidance savings. In other words, in the first year, what we're projecting, that 23% will represent you sending approximately, not approximately, our projection is $386,000. Less to your utility providers than you otherwise would. In other words, you will avoid sending, based on our projection, $386,000 to your utility providers. Natural gas, electricity, water, sewer. EEI proprietary program implementation, $147,600. That's an annual number. You divide that by 12 and, what did I say, 12.6? $12,600 a month. That's our fee. Those are not new dollars. You're already writing those checks to the utility companies. It will take you approximately 4 to 5 months to be cash flow positive. So what do you get for that? Ours is a proprietary program. We're the only company that does this program in the country, period. You noticed on some of the materials I passed out, it says proprietary, not for distribution. You can use any of our materials within the school district, all of the information within the district. It can't be shared outside the district. Your energy educator manager, that part-time position, actually has to sign a non-compete. Whoever is chosen for that can't do the program here and say, well, you know, the neighboring district doesn't have it. I can do that part-time over there as well. I just want to make sure and emphasize that. We have 30 full-time specialists. These folks will be coming in, working right in your district, putting individualized plans together for each building. We will know exactly what we need to focus on at the high school, the middle school. How many elementary schools do you have? 6. 6. Your 6 individual elementary schools, this facility, every facility you have in the district with individualized plans, and what needs to take place and when. The role of the energy educator manager is that our people work with him or her directly. Again, that person is your employee. You pay that person. We guarantee whatever you pay them as part of the cost. We have mechanical engineers. We have HVAC experts. We have turf and irrigation experts. We have lighting experts. You may say, well, if you don't do equipment, why do you have mechanical engineers? We don't sell equipment, but we pay attention to your equipment. If we see things that aren't operating the way they should be operating, we're going to communicate that. We're going to advise on how to maximize efficiency of the equipment and the operations of the equipment. So we pay attention to that very closely. And again, those folks come into your district. 98% of all the training takes place right here in your district. The energy educator manager, that stipend is $25,500. That's what we're recommending. You decide what to pay the position. Typically, in your size, it's going to be about 12 to 15 hours, let's say about 15 hours a week, year-round. Early on in the program, it's going to be more than 15 hours, like anything else. Later on, once they have the program down, they'll be able to handle it quite effectively, we feel, in 15 hours. This individual is not a mechanical person. We're not looking for the best mechanic you have. We're looking for the best communicator, the best person who can communicate effectively with people. This is a people-focused program. The people who fill these part-time positions are teacher types, educators. Many of them are full-time teachers that take us on an extra duty position. Also, in part-time positions, recent retirees. Again, it doesn't have to be that, but it does need to be, from our standpoint, someone who is either an employee or who has recently been an employee and has been part of the system. Why is that? It's because you know them, you know their work ethic, what they're about, and they know the system. They have a commitment to the system, and that's critically what it is. The key for making this program succeed, this individual is absolutely essential. We do the training of this individual. We know the skill sets that work. We actually help lead the interviewing process. We have a person that comes in and leads the interviewing. Your folks participate because we know the skill set, you know the people. Estimated seminar and travel through thought. There are 3 meetings a year outside the district. We'd like them to attend as many of those as they can. We just completed one. That one happened to be in Fort Worth, Texas. The one in October is going to be in right outside Chicago in Schaumburg, Illinois. So they're moved around. We bring outside experts in. We use our experts. That's the only out-of-district training that takes place. The accounting software, $10,000 for the accounting software. We don't own it. We didn't develop it. And we don't maintain the upgrades on it. The software company called Good Steward Software does that. You purchase it right from Good Steward Software. And what does it do? It measures consumption right off your utility bills. Your energy educator manager inputs the utility bills for each building, and so you can go back and say, okay, how many units of natural gas did we use less in January 07 compared to January 06 in the high school, in the middle school, in the elementary schools? How many less kilowatt hours of electricity less by facility, by meter? So it's taken right off the meter. And what rate did we pay? Also, what's put into the software is degree days. If it's a lot milder, we just talked about that, in the heating season, well, you're going to use less. Well, we don't get credit for it. It's the weather. So the weather's balanced, so you're comparing apples to apples. There's a lot more detail in it, and I'll gladly respond to questions regarding that if you wish. So in the first year example, you see where it says district's total investment, $186,100. Everybody with me on that? Mm-hmm. That's what we're guaranteeing. Let's say in the first year, for whatever reason, you saved $180,000, first 12 months of the program, but you invested that amount, $186,100. Well, our guarantee, we said you're not going to have any net cost. In that example, you just had a net cost of $6,100, correct? We write you a check for the difference. So there's no net cost. Now, we're projecting a net savings of $199,900, just under $200,000. Everybody doesn't achieve the net savings. In the first year, 60 to 70% of our clients achieve it. And if you called every client in Michigan, I think it's even better in Michigan, but it's pretty high. But everyone didn't achieve it in the first year. By the second to third year, 70 to 80% of our clients are achieving the accumulated savings. So again, everybody doesn't achieve it. Into that 7th year, where your total projected is $2,852,137, 90% of our clients achieve that savings at a 90% level or greater. That's the track record we have, and that is what we stand by. We've been doing this for 19 years. We have lots and lots of clients throughout the country, and we're very confident we can assist you in helping redirect significant resources to other areas of need other than utilities. Let me stop there and see if there's any more detail you wish me to go through or respond to questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
Question for Sherry. Sherry, I'm going over our ledgers. Is there any way, I mean, I know that they're giving this proposal and this proposition. Is there anything that you could put together for us in terms of what we actually spend so we can at least have some comparisons? I think that would be helpful for us.
Yes, I have that information. I actually provided it to Ms. Buckley a few board meetings ago. But I'd be happy to go through and, it was an estimate for the rest of the year and catch us up to where we are exactly in actual dollars. And sure.
And we drove our projection off what you actually spent, actual audited numbers from last year. You were spending more than this year. That's why we're even as confident as we are, is that we made the projection off your last year's spending, and we know you're spending more this year. And so we're very confident that our projection's conservative. Reason I passed this out, just so you see, this program isn't about just turning off lights and turning off computers. It pays attention to all these things, issues like moisture control, air conditioning, preventive maintenance process, control systems. So it's really providing a highly technical focus on facilities.
Are there any other questions from board members?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Dolan. Oops, excuse me, I got Romulus Elementary playground equipment in here. Sherry?
Yes. I'm recommending that the board approve the matching of the funds to purchase playground equipment at Romulus Elementary School. These matched funds amount in, the total is $4,586.50. The other portion, which amounts to $4,586.50, will be donated or contributed by the parents as educational partners of Romulus Elementary School. I did bring this to the Finance Committee where it was approved, and from there I'm bringing it to your, for your approval.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the matching funds for the playground equipment for Romulus Elementary School.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Kudrow, supported by Ms. Manassi. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dolan.
Thank you, Mr. Carr, members of the board. Tonight, we have with us Jill Covell. Jill's the new director of the Boys and Girls Club. Just a brief history, the Boys and Girls Club is probably the best show in town in relationship to price and quality for both our schools and our community. It's been in existence approximately 6 years. It's won, as you are aware, state awards. It serves approximately 500 kids after school. Jill's got a couple of her board members with her and her assistant with her. Jill? Do I have to come up there? You do. Do I have to use the microphone? You do.
Just turn it on. Turn it on. Just turn it on.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
All right. My name's Jill Coble. I'm the club director of the Romulus Clubs. Carrie Young is the program coordinator of the WIC site, actually at both sites, but we're kind of short-staffed, so she stays there, and I'm at Merriman. This is Pat Floating. Pat's a social worker at Hale Creek Elementary School, and this is Mr. John Jariga. If you don't, he's aged a little bit, but he's he's a retired school teacher. Sorry. You know I was going to get you. But we're just here to basically explain how important this program is to us, how important it is to him, and he'll tell you why, and see all aspects of it. And if you can see carrying us at work, the fun the kids have and the actual work that it does take to run this program. So first we're going to start off with John.
Again, my name is John Jariga. I think you know Debbie Jariga. Back in, I taught in Romulus for 30 years. And in the process, I remember in 1997, I was sitting at a meeting with Tom Dolan. And Tom mentioned
at this parent compact meeting that, look at, we deal with these kids all day long. We've got them covered during the daytime. And what we need to do is do something with kids at night, a good, clean, safe environment. And he kind of looked at me and says, John, can you spearhead some idea? And I thought, great, this is my concept or my way of paying back the Boys and Girls Club. In that, when I was 10 years old, I joined the Boys and Girls Club, or Boys Club in those days, when I was 10 years old in Binghamton, New York, upstate New York. And I worked for them from age 10 to age 20. And they actually sent me to college, and I became a teacher. So it was my opportunity to pay back the Boys and Girls Club. So in 1998, in November, we started the club at Merriman Elementary with a great number of students. But before that, I had to go to Joel Carr, and I said, Joel, I need a board of directors, and I need 32 names. So Joel sat down and gave me a list of the movers and shakers in this town and helped me. Not one person rejected the idea, and they helped a great deal. And then Tom was writing tremendous amount of grants, and he still is, to support the club, which we really appreciate. Then a while back, Merriman was so crowded with students that Post Serial gave us, how much? $25,000 to $30,000 to start a new club at Wick Elementary because they're overcrowded. And right now, at both clubs, we're actually overcrowded now. And I guess that's, I'll pass on the, you want to talk now, Pat? Or, okay.
I've been a social worker in the district for 25 years, and one of the biggest challenges that I saw in the district was that kids went home at night. Their parents had to work. Their parents couldn't always afford daycare or a babysitter for them, and so we had kids on the street that were young and without supervision. And I mean, when we started to talk about the Boys and Girls Club, I thought, boy, that's just something that's, I mean, it's just been wonderful. I have some kids, a couple of kids that have gotten scholarships because their parents couldn't afford the small amount that it costs, and it's a great deal. I mean, $30 a year. Jill's great. I communicate with Jill all the time about kids from our building. We have a great board. We have Reverend Willis. We have a city council member. We have Judge Parrott. We have Jacqueline Ocala, who is Mr. Ficano's assistant. We have central distributors. We have people from the bank. We have Mr. Dolan. We have a great representation from the community of people on the board. So it's really great. And just to remind you, if you don't know, or if you don't know to inform you, May 18th, we're having a golf outing at Gateway. And you're welcome to come. It's $100 a person, and the proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Club.
I sent you some facts around. I hope everybody received one. We're actually at currently 650 members, and that's at the highest that we've been in the 7 years that we've been here. And it's I mean, and Carrie, I mean, hats off to you. I mean, they're working their tails off, and they're seeing probably 150 kids a day, and at Merriman we're seeing about 100. So that's, you know, and if you walk in, you think it's crazy. It is, but it's organized chaos, and it works. And it's better for these kids to be in these schools after school with positive, you know, reinforcement other than walking the streets. I mean, that's definitely there. The membership, like Pat said, is $30 for the school year. If they want the summertime program, it's $20 extra. Early morning activities in the summertime is an extra $150 because we have to hire extra staff to run that program. Hours are 10 to 6 in the summertime, Monday through Friday. During the school year, it's after school till 8:30, and we accommodate hours for half days and holidays. Basically, there's Tom. If you keep writing grants, I mean, we'll be in business forever. But there's a huge thanks to everybody in this room. You know, because we have principals, we have director of curriculum, we have retired school teachers, we have social workers, we have community business leaders. They recently received the Community Service Awards for the 2006 Leadership Awards. We honor 32 kids, and we pick a group. And since we don't know what to do with it, because who does it go to, and there's so many school personnel on it, we'd like you to know if you would hang this in your building, hang this in your school, or your room here, or wherever. Can anybody say yes?
Sure.
Who would like it?
We can hang it.
The president would love it.
Do you like
Give
it?
it to April.
There you go. But this is a huge, thank you, but the kids, they need a place to be, and I think we have, the right people to do it.
Jill, you might want to comment or update the board. We've been able to pair the Boys and Girls Club with tutoring, and you might want to talk about the number of kids that are getting individual tutoring every day and every week.
At our site, there's about 62 different kids that get tutored through the CSR tutoring and 21st century tutoring. I believe you're about the same. WIC's about the same. So you're dealing with 120 different kids that are getting one-on-one tutoring, which is huge. I mean, I'll be honest, it's a hard number for us to work with one-on-one because I can't shut a room down with 30 kids to help one, but the tutoring, the assistance is huge. And if it wasn't for the tutoring, some of these kids would really be lost.
Yeah, it is a significant component because it does bridge the gap between school and after school, a quiet time, a significant other, a mentor, if you will. And I know we've done some work with the parents, Pat, and do you want to comment on that? And
In terms of the tutoring?
just keeping the parents involved in the program. And
Yeah, it's kind of hard because a lot of our parents are working, but we do try, to get them involved. And I know Jill does a great job when the parents come to pick up the kids, she talks to them. The tutoring is really good. We have buses that take from all the schools here and take them to Merriman or over to WIC, drop the kids off for the tutoring, and then the parents can pick them up. They can pick them up right after tutoring. They can pick them up later. And it's the first thing. We have what's called child study meetings in our building, and a lot of times we have parents who aren't aware of the Boys and Girls Club. And they're saying, well, I don't have time to spend with my child at night. I have to work till 7 o'clock. And I pair them up with the tutoring and with Boys and Girls Club, and it's been very helpful, really helpful. And Jill's done a great job.
Jill has.
No, hats off to you. I mean, everybody in this room, you made it happen. And I think the kids definitely are the ones that are, getting the most out of it. So, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Does anybody have any questions?
I just got a comment. Jill, I just want to tell you, I had a parent, I have a couple parents that bring their children. No, in fact, they absolutely love you. And the program has really helped her children, especially with the tutoring. And kudos to you, because a lot of good comments about that program.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I would just like to make comments. Both of my kids are members of the WIC program. And even though it's a lot of kids, but what I like to see, even Miss Carey working with the kids, she empowers other kids to be leaders, and that's important. I mean, some of us still have small kids that are in elementary school, and we need the Boys and Girls Service. So it is really, really a great program, and I don't know what we would do without you. Kids would be at home raising themselves, I suppose.
Carrie's a silent.
Yeah.
I
To be commended.
She's a silent, doesn't say too much, but she works her tail off, and definitely she deserves as much credit, if not more, than most people.
Madam Chair?
Yeah,
Oh, just
not
a.
you. The kids graduate yet?
I'd just like
that
to say
effect,
that, Jill and Carrie, and when Frank started the program out there, I mean, my kids, I think, were some of the first ones in there, and it really worked out good for our family, because my wife was on afternoons, and I never knew when my shift was going to end for the day, and it was really beneficial that they could go there, and I didn't have to worry about them getting there, and they were supervised, and it really was, and the cost, I mean, for anybody in the district, if you're trying to have two incomes in your house and paying, hundreds of dollars a week in childcare, you wonder if it's worthwhile working. But the Boys and Girls Club's great because they get to they're entertained when they come home. A lot of times they want right to bed too. So that was
You don't know what we did to them.
Are there any other questions?
I'm just like Tom. My kids started off at WIC when the program first started, and my younger one took advantage of the tutoring, and it really helped a lot. It really did. I mean, usually my kids were only there for about an hour, hour and a half, but that small time frame, even if you only need it for half an hour, or if you need it for the full 3.5 hours after school now, whatever it may be. But I mean,
right?
it's so flexible. It's so flexible and affordable but
Thank you.
it's worked out really well.
Thanks.
Are there any other comments or questions? I would also just like to say that my students were given the opportunity to be involved in that a couple years ago, and it worked out really well for them. They really enjoyed the program. They were at WIC. But Jill, if I can just have you, just for our members at home who happen to be watching this, can you mention to them on television how they could go about getting registered or signing up for this coming summer? Because you do have summer hours available as well, right?
That's correct. There's orientations Monday at 7 p.m. at Merriman. You need to bring your children with you, proof of age, and the membership money. And WIC is on Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And same thing, bring your children with you, bring your parents, bring an adult, whichever, and proof of age.
And it's
The
every,
dates on
every
those?
week?
Every Monday at 7, every Wednesday at 7. Mondays at Merriman, Wednesdays at WIC.
Okay.
Okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I take care of it.
Good job.
Thanks, Jill.
Summer Conference and Competition for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. Mrs. Santo has put in a request for a group to travel to Nashville. It'll be at no cost to the school district. And we recommend that we approve this. It's in July, from July 9th through the 13th.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the middle school trip to Nashville, Tennessee.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Buckley, supported by Mrs. Roscoe. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I guess these come from the Policy Committee.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Carr, members of the board. The Policy Committee has met and recommended adoption of 2 policies for you tonight. Cheryl, did you want to talk to them? We have representatives of both committees here tonight to answer any questions that the board may have.
Well, we went, Policy Committee met, and we just recommend that you accept our internet access and email acceptable use policy and our wellness policy. And this wellness policy has to be in effect from the state. Tom, the date again? Where we have to have this in place?
I think July 1.
I think it's July 1. I had 2 different dates. It was July 1.
July 1?
Pat, is she here? Well, whoever. Who's somebody here? July 1. Okay. July 1. So we need to have this in place according to the state.
Glenn is here to answer any questions.
Oh, okay. Hi, Glenn.
He is on that committee.
So anybody have any questions for the Policy Committee?
I just have a question. The policy regarding the internet access and email is pretty much the same from the previous years. Nothing's really changed. I didn't notice anything.
Ms. Cook and Ms. Garrett are here to respond to any.
She was here.
They both
They're
are.
here.
She still was.
It's basically the same, except some items have been added just to fill out or to verify our support.
Alberta, when would this policy, when would you plan on putting this into effect?
The committee, technology committee, is considering a rollout for September.
September.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would just like to comment that the wellness policy is a new policy.
I think they
Yeah,
should
it
be
is.
using the microphone.
Right.
Yeah. Our operator just poked his head out. But he didn't hold up a sign, so I'm sure if anyone wants to address the board, they have to use the mic.
Let's see if there's any more questions or concerns.
Also, just one more comment. The wellness policy actually was developed by the Healthy Living Committee
Oh,
and brought forth to the Policy Committee,
Yeah.
where we went over what they had spent a lot of time putting together, going over the state, looking at all the requirements to make sure we were in compliance with the state. So that's where this policy, they came forth with this policy to us. And we recommend that you adopt it.
thank you, Mrs. Buckley. Are there any more questions regarding the 2 policies? Can we motion these together, Joel, or do we need to do them separately?
I think you can do it together.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve both of these together, the wellness policy and
I
the
would-
internet access
I would
policy?
like to make a motion that we approve the internet access policy and the wellness policy, even though they don't go together, but I guess we can put them in the same motion.
Support it.
Motion by Mrs. White, supported by Mr. Kudrick. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you,
Next
guys.
item on the agenda would be communications and expressions from the public, and I don't have anything here in front of me for tonight.
Don't fill out the form now, Jason. Come on up and speak.
We know where you live.
If I use the microphone. Okay.
No, Jason.
Okay. I apologize for not having the form filled out earlier. My name is Jason Selhaney. I'm the president of the Romulus Education Association, which is the union that represents teachers and social workers, et cetera, within our district. I wanted to bring an issue forward to you today about the issue of hiring for athletic coaching positions. And I would like to just express our concern about that these positions are negotiated positions of our contract, and we feel strongly that they should be held for members of our bargaining unit. On March 1st, our union filed a grievance. On the basis of this grievance was a provision in our contract that states that all athletic people that hold athletic positions and other supplemental positions be full-time employees of the Romulus Community Schools. We feel that recently this policy, this provision of our contract has been violated, and we wanted to bring that forward to you. Our board of directors has discussed this at length. We feel it's extremely important that all provisions of our contract are followed and followed through with, and we urge you to, reconsider and review these policies of our contract before future hirings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the items of interest from the superintendent. Joel?
They are self-explanatory. We also got a thank you from Carl Weiss, who is with us tonight. Carl Weiss is to be your new superintendent to the community of Romulus. We just stand up for a minute so the camera can see him. But Carl will have the joy of filling this seat pretty soon. In fact, I'm going to miss you all. That's all I have tonight.
Okay. Are there any questions or concerns of board members?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to congratulate our Teacher of the Year, Marilyn Wood. She was honored at the Hyatt last week, Wednesday. I can't keep my days straight anymore, but.
I know.
And then we also had some other staff. I know Irene Sandusky, Ms. Poirier, I'm trying to remember them all that were honored.
Alberta Garrett.
Yes, Alberta, how could I forget you? And Alberta Garrett, who's with us. And am I forgetting anybody?
Dan McCabe.
Yes.
Oh.
He was in
and Dan
Washington with a
McCabe.
bunch of students, hadn't he?
Right.
So that's what I get for not having my piece of paper in front of me, but hopefully if I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
Gretchen.
Gretchen and Tara.
Gretchen Taro.
Gretchen Otaro.
Which 7 people.
Get somebody help me.
Yeah,
I think we had more people recognized than any other district in Wayne County.
yeah.
Another great showing by
Feather in
the
her cap.
excellence that's going on in Romulus.
Listen.
We alluded earlier to the School of the Year that we received in Bay City the previous Thursday for the alternative school. The beat goes on, and it's a wonderful tune.
Thank you, Mrs. Buckley. Are there any more questions or concerns, board members?
I'd just like to thank Mr. Cruz for getting our calendar together for the next 6 or 8 weeks here. But, and I'd like to say that I know there's a lot going on in all the schools, elementary and the junior high and high school community. And I know we'll all try to get around to everywhere and try to divide it up because there's a lot of things going on the same nights.
One other item also. We're going to be going through our district-wide North Central accreditation visit starting tomorrow morning. That'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Ms. Roscoe will be representing the board tomorrow morning. If some of you can come by, particularly probably for the Thursday afternoon session.
Right, there will be there's about 8 visiting team members from as far away as Washington DC, so and our staff have prepared well for this. But the person coming from Washington is probably the most interesting. She is the representative of the Southern Conferences, and our reputation is such. She's interested in seeing what we do as a district, and it's all based on how central office supports the academic initiatives in the board. The wrap-up will be 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon if you have an opportunity to listen to their findings. They will be here all day tomorrow. They'll spend all day Wednesday in the schools, and the wrap-up will be Thursday at 1
Here?
here.
Thank you, Tom.
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
I have a couple of things. One, I don't know if we've decided yet concerning the RISA budget meeting, if someone was going or not. This is May 22nd, and it's for the budget of the 06-07 school year for the RISA.
We have a meeting that night.
Well, this is in the morning, I think.
That is you. That would be you.
Oh, wait a minute,
Free morning.
If I can't, May 22nd.
You want to go?
I can, well, let me check. Let me check.
You got the AM shift, Tim?
Well, I got one more that's
Yeah, we only
bright
got
and early
50
again.
meetings between now and then.
22nd is a Monday. I can make it if there's no one else.
Great.
Pretty much it.
That's a wonderful thing.
Tomorrow morning, I'll be leaving at 7 a.m.
That's right.
to go to Lansing for a 9 a.m. Award ceremony. Teresa Blisman from Barth is one of 5 people in the running for Support Person of the Year for the state of Michigan as far as educational support. And other than that, you people know about the recent meeting. I think that should do it.
I think that meeting tomorrow is at the State Board of Education. Mr. Cruz will be there snapping some pictures as well, so.
Don't move.
Hopefully we'll.
move until the second.
Well, top 5 to begin with, that's really great.
I should bring up, who's on the climate committee?
Betty.
Betty goes
Betty,
first.
we have a test here for you eventually.
You have a what?
No, I need you to look at these minutes. I've got something to point out to you.
Yeah, I wasn't at that meeting though.
Good one, Betty.
I just thought I'd put that in.
Hanging out with kids more.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is executive session. If there's no more questions or concerns of board members, if I can get a motion to go into executive session.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. White, supported by Mrs. Lacey. Roll call.
1 second. Mrs. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Kuderick?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
President Frayer?
Yes.
And I also vote yes.
Okay, just to let everybody know, there's no further action that's gonna be taken once we reconvene. It's just adjournment. So,
Carl, thank you for coming.
yes, thank you.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we reconvene at the
Support.
regular session.
Motion by Mrs. Buckley, supported by Mrs. Lanasi. Roll call.
Mrs. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Kuderick?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
President Frayer?
Yes.
Mr. Minkiewicz also votes yes.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
Support. Motion by Mrs. Lanasi, supported by Mrs. White. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
8:14.